The population fell to 11,000. Now it's 5 times more, and young couples are sweating it out in portables and caravans while they rebuild on the old foundations. Eric and Pauline Vosbergen bought this property over a year ago, and they're living on the site while they try to get a house built, which isn't too easy in Darwin.
Well, it's very expensive.
For us, yeah, the cost is very prohibitive. There's no way in the world I could afford to just go out and allow J-Blocks to build it to come and build it for us.
Well, we had some plans sort of initially sketched out, didn't we? And an average sort of house, they looked at $100,000. And it's just beyond our capabilities, isn't it? So what we're going to do is subcontract and work ourselves alongside the subcontractors and try and save money that way, if we can.
Yeah, plus probably go in 2 stages, build in 2 stages.
Ultimately, we want a big house, but we don't need it for the moment, so if we can fulfill the covenant by building something relatively small that's sufficient, and then later on in a few years, without having to borrow too much initially, finish it off.
Despite the sort of cost and the fact that you're camping in bits and pieces, you're happy with life in Darwin? How do you feel about Darwin?
Oh, well, I think couldn't say for both of us, we thoroughly enjoy it, yeah. It's a great spot.
I never intended to stay here. I was driving around Australia and the car broke down 8 years ago. And I never got away. Got a job and sort of stayed. And I don't know, I think the only time I really decided to stay was when we bought this place. And then until then it was all subconscious. I hadn't been aware of the fact that I'd made this my home, but now I'm fully aware of it and I'm quite happy with it. Until the wet season comes again, and then we think, what the hell are we doing here?
But people seem to be optimistic about Darwin. You see a bright future in Darwin?
Oh, yeah.
Darwin is the fastest growing capital in Australia, and it has the highest birth rate and the youngest population. 80% of the people are under 35. More than half of them are school children, and a lot more are preschool children, with parents in full-time jobs. As a consequence, Darwin abounds with daycare centres. The Funtime Centre takes children from the age of 3 1/2. Others take them from as young as 6 weeks. Darwin has 16 registered daycare centres. Most operate from 7 in the morning till 6 at night. And as well as looking after infants, some of them collect children after school and look after them till their parents finish work. The manager of the Funtime Centre is Brian Smith.
It does seem extraordinary, both the young age they go to the childcare centres and just the sheer amount of parents who are using it. Why is this so in Darwin?
Look, it would be a high proportion of working mothers in the town, where you've got, then there's probably in ratio to other towns, there'd be a lot of single parents up here. It's Darwin's famous for many things, I think, and that's one of them.
What, marriage breakups?
Yeah, well, people that come up here that have broken up south, and they come up here as single parents and get a job and drop the kids off here. So then, where possibly you have a lot more up here in this sort of activity than you would have south. It's, up down south, you've got grandma and grandpa and brothers and sisters that can look after them. Well, up here we're 2,000 miles away from everything, and they're isolated and got no family to help, and so again they use us.
So it's a vital role, really.
Yes, it is.
If there's one thing that Darwin considers really vital, it's beer. Officially, the city has a wet season and a dry season, but the thirsty season runs for 12 months every year. The average Darwin beer drinker disposes of a dozen cans a day, and Darwin spends 40% more than the national average on grog. It's the tropical climate.
Thank you very much. Lovely drop.
In Nightcliff, you don't have to go out in the noonday sun to the bottle shop. You can get it at the licensed butcher's shop. Now, this may not be the answer to Darwin's public transport problem, but at least it's an answer to the litter problem. The thirsty city produces a lot of empties. An observer of Darwin in the 1930s issued the verdict, this will be the place for a bottle dump. It wasn't a very tidy city in those days. In 1973, Darwin businessman Lutz Frankenfeld had a brainwave and built a beer can boat. That was the start of something big. the beer can regatta.
I guess if anybody knows anything about Darwin, they know that there's a beer can regatta held here. But why is there a beer can regatta? What's the purpose of it?
The main idea was to get something that has a lot of fun attached to it.
Oh.
And seeing that most Darwinites love the outdoor life, that was one of the most logical things to do, to get an outside sport, to use our magnificent beaches, clean up the beaches also and build boats. And so it's just an added attraction for tourists and also something to get the community together.
They call it the beer can regatta, Lutz, but I noticed this boat is being made out of Coca-Cola cans. How come?
Well, we thought this year's the year of the child, and seeing I'm involved as a chairman of the businessmen's committee, we thought we'd build a boat out of Coke cans this time and sort of make the whole concept different. And certainly, as you've seen, there's a lot of kids involved, and I think it's great to be able to get that sort of involvement. That's what it's all about, really.
Well, to what degree does Darwin retain any vestiges of being a frontier town, do you think?
Well, Darwin is